Today is January 27th, it is 6 p.m., and we will call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. The first order of business is the approval of minutes from November 25th, 2024. I need a motion to
So
begin.
moved.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you. Any discussion, changes, omissions, corrections?
No, it looked all right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I wasn't here.
Like to abstain?
And I will abstain because I wasn't here.
Okay. Next order of business is the election of officers. We will open the floor for nominations.
I nominate John Egan.
Okay, Mr. Agar, you accept?
If that's the desire of the board, I'm willing to serve.
Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Wayne McCall.
Okay. There are any other nominations? Okay, I'll go in the order they were received, so we'll vote for Mr. Agar first. Any in favor? And Mr. McCall? It is a tie. We will go through again. We'll start with Mr. Agar, if anybody was willing to change their mind, and Mr. McCall. Tied again. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll move on to vice chair. Any nominations?
I move Jim.
Mr. Henderson, you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. We'll move on to secretary.
I move that James continue as secretary.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. All right. I do need a motion to amend the agenda to remove the approval of calendar that was previously done and left under the omission. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay. Do you mind if I grab the agenda? So I will continue to run the meeting until we can elect a chair. We'll try again at our next meeting. We'll start with a brief statement about rules and procedures. So the applicant will be able to provide a presentation about the needs for the variance for approximately 5 minutes. We will have the ability to give more time if it's needed, but if you can keep it to 5 minutes, that's perfect. Staff will address any additional issues. We'll have a public comment period and the opportunity for each applicant to make a rebuttal to any comments. And then finally, we'll move into voting. The first hearing tonight will be on variance application VA 24-000022. Kenneth Ruth is requesting relief from the rear setback requirement within the lake overlay to replace the retaining wall damaged beyond 50%. TMS number is 193-05-01-008. It's an address of 435 Cane Creek Landing, Seneca, South Carolina, 29672. You ready to make the presentation, sir?
No, you guys know everything about just replacing railroad ties. Just get it okay.
If you'd like to step up to the podium, and then we can move into questions if you don't want to make a presentation. But the materials you provided are available in the backup.
All right, I'm new to all this stuff, so. Okay, hey, I'm replacing some old, rotted old railroad ties, I guess it's been in that area way back in the 90s or whatever, that's rotted, fallen down. And I'm putting a retainer wall up in place of it, just up, and then putting my ramp back down to go to my boat. I'm going up to about 6 foot where it is now. And I got the okay from Duke Energy. I have so much leeway on where my steps were, and he said, you can keep the steps, put it back like it was. And that's, so I still got it the same way. Duke, you should have the copy of what Duke gave the okay. And there's section 2 that says it was okay too, to put the railroad ties up, 'cause the old railroad ties are up at an angle, and I went up straight with the block and bricks. That's about it. Trying to beautify the area and keep the dirt where it is.
Okay. I don't believe there's any public comments, we'll double check. Would anyone from the public like to make a comment regarding the hearing? We'll move directly into board questions. Okay. I'll make some just general staff comments regarding the request. The retaining wall was damaged beyond 50%, does need to be removed. They have the Duke permits already to replace it in kind with the new CMU material. And happy to answer any of your questions that you have about the request.
Anything from his HOA or the association where he lives?
Have not heard anything at all.
The height is, he's got on the drawing, is it 16.5 foot tall?
Not 16, it's
So he got on this thing here, 16.5 foot retaining wall.
Well, there is a retaining wall there, that's 16 foot, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. We'll move directly into the 4 questions. So we need to have a positive response from the board for each of these to pass. The first question, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. I need a motion in the affirmative.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. These conditions do not generally apply to the other properties in the vicinity. I need a motion in the affirmative, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter of the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Need a motion in the affirmative.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. The authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. I need a motion in the affirmative, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? All right, based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, who was the second? I apologize. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Mr. Gilster, I'm sorry.
Me?
All in favor?
Oh, so sorry.
Thank you. It's unanimous. You have your variance.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Variance application BA 24-0000-23. Riley Leclerc of Owner Built Design requesting relief from the front setback requirement for a poured concrete retaining wall. The TMS is 056020224. The address 242 Bayview Drive in Salem. This is starting on page 17 in your packet.
So we built a house for Ross and Lexi, and while we were digging out, we realized how much dirt we really needed to dig out on the side of the house. After we dug it out, talking with them, we decided we needed to put some kind of wall up, because there's probably a, 60-foot hill out back that drops down. So we put a retaining wall up, made a nice little flat space, because there's really not any flat spaces out there. And we put it up, did not know of the 25-foot. I've never actually ran into this. I've never had a house that we've ever had 25-foot or remotely close to a 25-foot setback. I didn't even think about it, didn't realize that was gonna be a thing at all. And we put the wall up and did it and continued on, and I think we put that up probably by, midsummer maybe. We did it when we did the walls, so we had our normal county inspections and did all of that, and again, we didn't know the 25-foot setback part of it. Even when I had the surveyor out there prior, he didn't say anything either at the time, but it helped make some flat space. Like I said, there's no other flat space besides the cul-de-sac. So after we talked about it, they agreed they wanted something, and actually it's, like I said, it's about the only spot you can do anything on the side of the house. There's a door about 10 feet in from that wall, and all that dirt was pouring over, so we knew we'd have to have something. We just didn't know to what extent. So as we did it, we made it curve and made it as big as we could on the side so that they'd have a little bit of a yard, because if you see that back deck, that last rectangle, that's where it drops off, probably 60 foot or better, out back. So that's really why we did it, is to have some safe space to use besides the cul-de-sac. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
You have 2 letters of support from the HOA and the neighbors. correct?
Yeah, the HOA, so he knew, the HOA president knew we were doing it, because we told him, hey, we're doing this, and talking about how it was gonna, like where we're moving all the dirt, because we moved the dirt behind the house to try and make it more flat space. So yeah, he knew about all of it. He walks by probably, 2 times a day, walking his dog every day. But he had no problem with it either. We knew before building the house, we had to get so that we weren't perched off of the land so far, we had to get an improvement for I think they required like 50 feet at times, like for the house itself to be 50 foot. And they approved us for, I think it was like 15 feet or something from the road, which then we knew at that point, we were past that. We stayed right at the 25 foot or 30 foot past that, because we didn't need the full 50. That would have been like way down the hill. But yeah, he wrote a letter, because like I said, it's been up since we did the walls of the house, and it's been done, and the house was inspected and finalized for the house itself. And then, I think that's it.
If your request doesn't get approved, what would you do?
What's that?
If the request isn't approved, what would you do? What would be your course of action?
The only thing we can do at this point would have been taking the wall down somehow. That's the only thing I could see. I don't know what else we could do. Because we did a concrete wall to help hold everything back and keep water going towards the ditch or towards off the driveway and everything. Now that'd be the only thing. We'd still have to do some other wall to hold that dirt back, because it's a lot of dirt. After we did that cut, we noticed that dirt just kept coming back this way towards the house. So we had to have something, whether it would be 2, short wall and one stack behind it, or one tall wall. And we did the one tall one because it just made more sense to have some kind of space to do something with. But yeah, that'd be the only other option.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board questions, comments, discussion? All right. Briefly, setback requirement for a retaining wall, same as the setback for the building itself. You've heard something similar in the past, so we are looking at kind of a consistent request for variance for retaining wall in that front setback. I brought the topography over, if anybody's interested in looking at that, you can see some of the topography on that site outlined in blue.
Wow.
And if there are no questions, we can move into the discussion. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to this particular piece of property. I need a motion in the affirmative, please.
So moved.
Second.
These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Sorry,
We're gonna vote on it?
did we not? We did not. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank
We're real
you.
good at raising our hands, but we do need the opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. The conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Motion in the affirmative,
So
please.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And all in favor? It's unanimous. Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Motion in the affirmative, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Motion in the affirmative, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, variance application VA 24000024. Wyatt Fulbright of Richland Creek is requesting a front setback variance of 22 feet to allow for a new property line between the existing storage building and the existing shop building, TMS number 252-0001005. The address is 2036 Sandifer Boulevard. Excuse me, Seneca, 29678. You're not here for the, okay. There is no representative here.
I move we table it.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Final hearing for this evening, variance application VA 24000025. Robert Burley of the Burley Lake House LLC is requesting a 9.5-foot variance to the rear setback for an addition after sustaining hurricane damage. TMS number 270-0003-012. The address 870 Carty Road, Seneca, 29678.
First of all, thank you for agreeing to hear this variance request. I'd like to quickly go through this package and go over each page and then I would like to ask that you allow Jerry DeBose here from the Property Owners Association to say a few things. The first 3 pages of your package are sketches that I put together to get pricing from the contractors for the rebuild. There've been some changes in some of the details of this, but the intent is to build back closer to the lake, closer to the core line than the original house was. We intend to build back near to the edge of the deck that was destroyed. The next slide is a copy of the plat. You can see the Corps of Engineer line called out right here. The Corps of Engineer line goes at an angle, and you can see the original deck. The tree fell through the house right here in this area and destroyed the deck. And we would like to build back to bring this corner closer to the core line, to within 6 inches of the core line. And that's where the 9.5-foot variance comes from. The next page is a copy of the plat, an overall copy of the plat that I don't really have anything to add to on this one. The next 2 pages are the tree damage to the house. The next one this one shows the back of the house. If you could zoom out, this shows the back of the house where the tree went through the bedroom. Our intent or our request is to build back so that the corner of the house, so that we're allowed to build out almost to the edge of this deck. So we're not increasing the footprint very much at all except at the corner. The next one is I'm sorry, I didn't realize that one was in there. You can go to the next one. Next one. This is the house before the storm. The last 3 pages are emails from the neighbors. I contacted each of the neighbors, and none of them have any objection to building back like we requested. That's really all I have. I'd like to allow Jerry DeBose from the Property Owners Association to make some comments, if that's all right.
Did you have any questions for him before? We'll move directly into public comment. Okay. Come up.
In 2002, we got together as a community and wrote some restrictions, or had them written. And one of the things that we did, we discussed the setback on the back. Been in real estate for a long time, so I know that's something that we need to have. But in this case, the Corps of Engineers doesn't have any. So you can build right up to the core line. So if your core line is right here, and your overhang is within 2 inches or 3 inches or 4 inches, they're not gonna say anything. If you hang over, then you got a problem. They're gonna make you take it down. So we purposely didn't put it in there because we didn't really need it. All the properties in this subdivision that were covered by these restrictions back up to the core line, and they don't have a setback, so we didn't have one either. So that's in our restrictions. Did you get a copy of the restrictions in your package? Is that something that you wanna see? It was, book 1248, page 287, and the setback is on the 3rd page, I think. Let me double check here, just in case somebody wants to look it up. Well, come on here, it's here. Yes, it's on the 3rd page, right at the top. And it just has a sideline and front line, and that's all it has. Are there any questions for the association from you folks? Okay, thank you.
Just as information, so every parcel does have setbacks within the county. The front setback on this particular piece of property is 15, the rear is 25, the rear is 10, and the sides are 5. So there are setbacks. Very common, older properties before those setbacks were the way they are. Lots of homes consistently have built up to the core line on Hartwell. So you've heard something like this before in the past. Happy to answer any specific questions you guys have. Any discussion, questions? We'll move directly into the questions then. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The motion in the
So
affirmative.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And all in favor? Unanimous. These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. You have a motion in the affirmative.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict utilization of the property. A motion in the affirmative.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. A motion in the
So moved.
affirmative.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. Okay. So the motion to
Move
adjourn.
we adjourn?
Thank you.
All in favor? It's unanimous.